The Pentagon said on Thursday that it had detected a Chinese surveillance balloon hovering over the northwest United States, a discovery that comes just days before Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken's visit to Beijing. According to a senior defense official who was not authorized to speak publicly, President Biden has decided not to shoot down the balloon for the time being due to a recommendation from Pentagon officials that doing so would risk debris hitting people on the ground. The decision to make the discovery public appears to be aimed at putting China on notice ahead of Mr. Blinken's visit to Beijing, which will be the first by an American Secretary of State in 6 years, and during which he is expected to meet with President Xi Jinping. The sudden appearance of the balloon is certain to exacerbate already heightened tensions between the two powers. According to the official, while this was not the first time China sent spy balloons to the United States, this one appeared to hover over the country for a longer period of time. Nonetheless, a senior administration official who spoke on the condition of anonymity said the balloon posed no military or physical threat and had limited value in gathering intelligence. Another security official stated that the Pentagon did not believe the balloon added much value beyond what China could obtain from satellite imagery. According to Pentagon officials, the balloon traveled from China to Alaska's Aleutian Islands and then through northwest Canada before landing somewhere over Montana on Wednesday. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, which is part of the U.S.-Canada military partnership, said in a brief statement late Thursday that the movements of a high-altitude surveillance balloon were being actively tracked by Canada's Department of National Defence. It went on to say that the country's intelligence agencies were collaborating with their American counterparts to take all necessary measures to safeguard Canada's sensitive information from foreign intelligence threats. Canadians are safe, the statement said, without elaborating. The Department of National Defense did not say where or when the balloon was spotted, where it was heading, or if it was the same balloon that appeared high above Montana. It also made no mention of a potential second incident. Department officials did not immediately respond to emails or phone calls seeking clarification. What China was looking for in Montana was unclear, but the state is home to the 341st Missile Wing at Malmstrom Air Force Base, one of 3 American Air Force bases that operate and maintain intercontinental ballistic missiles. The Pentagon press secretary, Brig General Patrick S. Ryder, told reporters that the balloon was traveling well above commercial air traffic, and that once the balloon was detected, the United States government acted immediately to protect against the collection of sensitive information. He did not elaborate on these measures. The Pentagon sent F-22 fighter jets to track the balloon on Wednesday, temporarily grounding flights at the Billings airport, according to a senior defense official, but decided against shooting down the balloon. According to the officials, Secretary of Defense Lloyd J. Austin III convened a meeting of senior military and defense officials on Wednesday to discuss how to handle the situation. Senior Biden administration officials used multiple channels to contact their Chinese counterparts, conveying the gravity of the situation, a senior defense official said during a Pentagon briefing. China has several satellites that orbit the Earth at about 300 miles altitude. Chinese spy satellites, like American spy satellites, can take pictures and monitor weapon launches, according to officials. Both countries have a history of spying on one another. American diplomats visiting China on diplomatic missions routinely expect their conversations to be recorded. The spy balloon did not provide anything that other Chinese collections did not already provide them, said Michael P. Mulroy, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense, CIA officer, and Marine, in a text message. I believe this was a reference to Chinese spy satellites. The revelation comes at a time when tensions between Beijing and Washington are rising. The Defense Department announced on Thursday that the U.S. military was expanding its presence in the Philippines, as part of an effort, military analysts say, to constrain China's armed forces and strengthen the U.S. ability to defend Taiwan. The Biden administration has moved aggressively to limit China's ability to advance its technological and military ambitions, prompting sharp rebukes from Beijing. The Russian invasion of Ukraine, as well as what U.S. officials see as China's permissive attitude toward it, has strained relations. Taiwan, however, is by far the most contentious issue between the two powers. Mr. Blinken has organized a coalition of allies and partners to condemn China's actions in Taiwan. At the same time, he supports Mr. Biden's goal of maintaining open lines of communication with China in order to avoid a deterioration of the relationship. Lawmakers were quick to demand that the Biden administration respond forcefully to any threat. China's brazen disregard for U.S. sovereignty is a destabilizing action that must be addressed, and President Biden cannot remain silent, Republican California House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said on Twitter. The Chinese Communist Party should not have on-demand access to American airspace, said Representatives Mike Gallagher, Republican of Wisconsin, and Raja Krishnamurti, Democrat of Illinois, in a joint statement. The two added that the incident showed that the China threat is not confined to distant shores, it is here at home, and we must act to counter this threat. On the ground in Helena, Montana, retired State District Court Judge Jeffrey Sherlock agreed that the balloon was a provocative move. However, he expressed surprise that the Chinese would be interested in his part of the country. "I can't believe they are spying on Billings, Montana," he said. "There's not much there.